First, I want to salute the ceasefire deal today. After 15 months of U.S.-funded vicious destruction by the Israeli occupation forces of every block and neighborhood in Gaza, including every hospital, school, torching tent cities, today is a ceasefire, the beginning of a prisoner exchange agreement that leaves the Palestinian resistance undefeated. The heroic people of Palestine have forced the U.S.-backed Zionist regime to officially deal with Hamas and the resistance organizations who have remained intact. In resistance and guerrilla warfare, to survive as an organization is to live to fight another day. We salute the enormous political, organizational, and military accomplishment paid at a high price. Israel and U.S. imperialism are hated globally on a scale not seen before. Tens of thousands of Zionist settlers have left Israel, where thousands of businesses have closed. Zionism has failed to achieve its aims, and the resistance has survived. This latest ceasefire, no matter how short-term or long-term, reflects that Israel and its imperialist backers are not invincible. The complete inability of Israel in more than 15 months of bombing, backed by the U.S. and the other imperialist powers, to defeat the Palestinian liberation struggle and the revolutionary unity of the axis of resistance, confirms the limits of U.S. power. This ceasefire confirms that resistance, unity, and political morale are stronger than the most brutal, advanced, high-tech weapons. Now, let's talk about the Trump presidency and the prospects for peace in 2025. You can't put the two together. There is no prospect of peace. Trump is not offering peace. The MAGA slogan, "Make America Great Again," is a war cry. MAGA is also an out-of-date wish list. It confirms just how out of touch the U.S. ruling class establishment is with the world today. U.S. hegemony is gone, but U.S. imperialists in their arrogance can't see the facts on the ground. Slogans or threats won't change the downward spiral of U.S. imperialism. Wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Lebanon, Syria, Yemen, total support of the Zionists in Palestine, NATO war in Ukraine, sanctions on 40 countries, a third of the world population, threats on Korea and Iran, efforts to encircle China. They're all massively destructive, fabulously expensive. It includes the use of mercenary armies, proxy forces, thousands of U.S.-funded NGOs. But 2 decades of nonstop wars have failed to turn the U.S. global position around. U.S. strategy continues. It's to create chaos, and to disrupt development everywhere. Now, this is not the world situation that Trump faced when he was elected president in 2016, a mere 8 years ago. The world is changing fast. Whether Republican or Democratic Party are in office, the U.S. empire today has nothing to offer the world except more threats, sanctions, and wars. And that is no longer sufficient to maintain its dominance. The effort to threaten China by dismembering Russia totally failed, and it actually reinforced the trade and security integration of Russia and China. Now, just today, Russia and Iran signed a strategic partnership accord involving defense and economic exchange at a whole new level. There's rapidly developing alliances of countries of the global south, and it can no longer be ignored. While Trump and his whole crew of right-wing racist planners announce their plans to take everything backward, the whole world is consciously moving forward. Now, we don't know what aggressive plans Trump will announce today, tomorrow, and in the days ahead. The Trump announcement that the U.S. must take over Greenland, make Canada the 51st state, and retake the Panama Canal is directed at attempting total control of this hemisphere. It's an assertion, and it's part of a wild attempt to isolate China, to control the shipping lanes of the Arctic and the Panama Canal, the global navigation routes, and it will arouse a firestorm in this hemisphere. There's now a whole series of trade alliances, new forms of exchange, and a confident new spirit that confront the tired old MAGA slogan. China's Belt and Road Initiative, involving 150 countries, it's the most ambitious infrastructure project ever conceived. Among the world's emerging economies, new payments and trade mechanisms to bypass US-dominated structures and those horrific sanctions on a third of the world are developing. More than 30 countries have applied to join BRICS. There's the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Trump and the new administration is focusing on China, on China, on China. Why? China is the world's largest exporter of goods, the largest producer of real goods, and this is a threat to U.S. economic dominance. The scale of China's exports of $1.6 trillion to the countries of the Global South and the BRICS countries is now 4 times that of China's annual exports to the U.S. So what China offers is not just a powerful economy and new development plans. Because China's socialist base isn't driven to maximize profit for its private shareholders in every possible transaction, the government is able to introduce a wholly different approach to development. This gives rise to a very different kind of international relations. Genuine collaboration is possible, and this is a radical break from centuries of horrific imperialist looting in Africa, Asia, throughout the Global South. Globally, there is a steady determination to develop alternatives. And because U.S. imperialism is incapable of any project that's not immediately profitable for its corporate investors, it's only able to issue streams of threats, warnings, and false information against Belt and Road development projects. But even if Trump isn't first and foremost a capitalist, a racist demagogue, the whole vast apparatus of 800 military bases globally, the huge, highly profitable military industry, the invasive national security apparatus, that's who operates and sets policy, regardless of who's in office, Republican or Democrat, Biden or Trump. The interlocking military-industrial complex of banking, military industries, huge lobbying corporations, that determines U.S. policy. Now, the Trump administration is unapologetic. Trump is a billionaire capitalist and proud of it. He can only survive, though, by providing new sources of profit to the corporate elite. And that means looting Social Security, turning it over to Wall Street, or drastic cuts in social services, every conceivable service, or investing U.S. funds in cryptocurrencies. It's all economic growth and profit based on wild speculation. There's endless schemes to loot the working class in the United States today, but how to divide the working class to accomplish it, that is what Trump is proposing. Blame migrants, not the corporate rulers. Promise mass deportations. Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, intends to expel some 13 million undocumented workers, rounding them up, putting them in camps. These migrant workers keep essential industries, construction, agriculture, hospitality, home care, running. And it's a plan to cause massive misery and disrupt society. Blame trans people. Divide, attack the most vulnerable. But the problem remains. that imperialism can create horrific ruin, millions of refugees, but it cannot consolidate its control. U.S. imperialism is totally overextended. So in closing, in the period ahead, we need to escalate our solidarity with Palestine, with Syria, where there's such a setback, with Lebanon, with Iran, and with China, and with the sanctioned countries of Africa and the Americas. There's a new day, and the old order is collapsing. U.S. imperialism is in decline and decay. There are numerous emerging alliances. There's commodity trading platforms along with cross-border payment instruments. There's new political and economic structures. This cooperation gives hope for the future. The people of the whole world are demanding an end to all the restrictive, prohibitive measures. With renewed determination, let's strengthen our solidarity. I'll end with a salute to the heroic people of Venezuela, a salute to the elections in Venezuela, a salute to the new Federation of the Sahel in Africa, and to Palestine and continued resistance. Cooperation and development among all the people of the world is the only way forward.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and want to like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.